Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we are diving deep into one such coin, a piece that at first glance may look like nothing more than a common penny, but in reality has earned its place as one of the most talked about collectibles of its time. This is the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny from the year 2010. To truly understand this coin, one must first step back in time, to the very roots of Britain's coinage system, and the traditions that stretch back centuries. The humble penny has been a foundation of British currency for over 1,000 years. From the silver pennies of Anglo-Saxon kings to the bronze pennies of the Victorian era, and finally to the copper-plated steel pennies of our modern age, the penny has been a coin of the people, a symbol of everyday life. Yet, every so often, certain years of mintage stand out, not because of their abundance, but because of their rarity, their errors, their beauty, or the sheer oddities that surround them. The 2010 Elizabeth II 1 penny is one of those coins. By 2010, the United Kingdom was undergoing subtle but significant changes in its coinage. Just 2 years earlier, in 2008, the Royal Mint had introduced an entirely new set of reverse designs across almost all denominations. These designs, created by Matthew Dent, were revolutionary. Instead of traditional symbols on each coin, Dent's vision was bold and artistic. He spread the image of the royal shield of arms across the coinage of the nation. Each coin carried just a fragment of the shield, but when placed together, like pieces of a puzzle, they revealed the full coat of arms of the United Kingdom. For the penny, this meant its reverse carried the bottom left section of the shield, a cross-hatched area representing part of the royal arms. It was modern, symbolic, and unlike anything the British people had seen before on their currency. And yet, while millions of pennies were struck with this new design in 2010, something happened within the Royal Mint's presses that would forever elevate a small number of these coins to legendary status. Collectors began noticing that not all 2010 pennies were alike. While the majority displayed the new shield reverse, some bore the older pre-2008 design, the crown portcullis, a design long associated with the penny since 1971. How these pieces were struck remains a matter of debate. Some numismatists suggest leftover dies from earlier years were mistakenly used, while others speculate that a transitional error or a deliberate test run might have caused these coins to slip into circulation. Regardless of the cause, the result was astonishing. What should have been a standard penny worth just 1/100 of a pound became a collector's dream, an anomaly that immediately drew attention across Britain and beyond. On the obverse of the 2010 penny, however, there was no mistake. It carried the regal image of Queen Elizabeth II, facing right as tradition dictates, with her portrait by Ian Rank broadly. This fourth definitive portrait of the Queen had been in use since 1998, and was beloved for its realistic depiction, showing the monarch wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Around her portrait ran the legend, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, followed by the year 2010. A simple yet dignified acknowledgement of both her role as sovereign and the continuity of the nation's coinage. To hold one of these era pennies is to hold not only a mistake, but also a piece of living history, a coin that tells a story of transition, innovation, and the human imperfections that sometimes creep into the most carefully planned systems. Collectors across the globe quickly realized the significance of these coins. With era coins, rarity is everything, and the smaller the mintage, the higher the demand. For the 2010 Elizabeth II 1 penny bearing the old reverse design, only a limited number are believed to exist, making them extremely desirable. Some estimates suggest that fewer than 200 pieces may have survived in circulation, while others believe the number could be even smaller. That scarcity drives the frenzy, pushing collectors to pay staggering amounts whenever one surfaces. Imagine walking through a busy market in London in 2010, reaching into your pocket, and pulling out a penny to pay for a small purchase. In that moment, the coin may have looked just like any other, its copper surface glinting in the light. Yet, hidden in its design was a secret that most people would never notice. How many of these era pennies slipped unknowingly into cash registers, vending machines, and public buses, never to be thought of again. And how many sharp-eyed collectors were fortunate enough to spot the difference, to set one aside, and to preserve it for future generations? It is these questions that make coins like the 2010 penny so fascinating, because behind every rare coin lies a mystery, a story waiting to be uncovered. The allure of the 2010 penny extends far beyond its rarity. It is also a coin that captures the cultural moment of its time. Britain in 2010 was a nation balancing tradition with modernity. The world was recovering from the financial crisis of 2008, and coins were both practical instruments of daily commerce and symbols of national identity. The introduction of the royal shield designs had sparked debate. Some praised their boldness, their fresh approach to heraldry, while others lamented the loss of older, more familiar motifs. The existence of the era penny, carrying the older portcullis design, seemed almost poetic, an unintentional bridge between the old and the new, a tangible reminder of continuity amidst change. Collectors who seek this coin often speak not only of its monetary value but of its deeper significance. To own one is to own a piece of a story that is bigger than oneself, a fragment of Britain's numismatic journey. The fact that such a tiny coin, just 20.3 millimeters in diameter and weighing 3.56 grams, could carry such weight in history is a testament to the enduring power of coins as artifacts. They are not merely tokens of commerce, they are storytellers, carrying with them the legacies of kings, queens, nations, and mistakes that turn into miracles. Over time, as awareness of the 2010 penny grew, prices began to soar. Auction houses reported astonishing bids for even lightly circulated examples, while uncirculated specimens commanded near mythical sums. Stories emerged of lucky individuals who discovered one tucked away in a jar of change or hidden at the back of a drawer, coins that had been sitting unnoticed for years suddenly catapulting their owners into unexpected fortune. The penny that was worth just 1 pence at face value became worth thousands, then tens of thousands, and eventually, millions. This meteoric rise is not without precedent in the numismatic world. Other coins, too, have started as mistakes or oddities, only to rise in value over time. But the 2010 Elizabeth II 1 penny is unique in how quickly it captured the imagination of the public, transcending the boundaries of coin collecting to become a cultural phenomenon. Articles were written, videos were made, and collectors around the world began scouring their collections in hopes of finding one. Today, the coin stands as a beacon of rarity and wonder. When placed side by side with an ordinary 2010 penny, the differences may seem small, almost trivial. But those small details, the reverse design, the error in production, make all the difference in the world. They transform copper into treasure, an everyday object into a masterpiece of history. And this brings us to the most astonishing part of the story, its value. In the rare coin market, value is dictated by scarcity, condition, and demand. The 2010 Elizabeth II 1 penny with the portcullis reverse checks all 3 boxes. It is exceedingly rare, it carries immense demand, and the few examples in pristine condition are fiercely protected by those lucky enough to own them. In recent years, collectors have witnessed jaw-dropping sales, with single coins changing hands for sums that defy belief. And now, the latest estimates place the current value of the most pristine examples of this coin at an eye-watering $14 million. Think about that for a moment. $14 million for a penny, a coin that was supposed to be just a fraction of everyday currency. It is a reminder that rarity, history, and beauty can elevate even the humblest of objects to unimaginable heights. For those who own one, it is not just a coin, it is a treasure, a legacy, and perhaps one of the most remarkable reminders of how mistakes can sometimes become miracles. Top 2. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny from the year 2014 stands as an intriguing gem. At first glance, it may appear as just a humble coin, the kind millions of people used in their daily lives, exchanged across counters, jingling in pockets, or slipped into piggy banks. But beneath its copper-plated steel surface lies a tale rich with symbolism, a continuation of centuries-old tradition, and a rarity that has captured the imagination of collectors around the world. This is the story of a small but mighty coin, one that carries the weight of British history and commands an astonishing value in the numismatic market today. The year 2014 was not just another ordinary year for the United Kingdom. Queen Elizabeth II was well into her reign, having become one of the longest-serving monarchs in British history. The nation was evolving rapidly, but the coinage remained a steady reminder of continuity, tradition, and identity. By 2014, the 1 penny coin had already undergone a remarkable transformation since its decimalization in 1971. Once struck in bronze, it had shifted to copper-plated steel in 1992 due to rising metal costs, a change that kept the penny affordable to mint while preserving its familiar reddish hue. To the average citizen, it was simply a small denomination, often overlooked, but to collectors, every detail mattered. Every year carried subtle differences that could mean the world in terms of rarity and value. The design of the Elizabeth II 1 penny 2014 reflects both tradition and modern creativity. On the obverse, the coin proudly displays the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, executed with precision by Ian Rank Broadley. His effigy, introduced in 1998, had become iconic by 2014, depicting the Queen with maturity, dignity, and authority. Unlike earlier, more youthful portraits, Rank Broadley's portrayal captured her as a monarch seasoned by decades of service, a figure of continuity in a rapidly changing world. Around the portrait, the Latin inscription read, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, an abbreviation for Elizabeth II de Grazia Regina Fidei Defensor, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This timeless inscription reminded all who saw the coin of the monarchy's religious and constitutional role. Turning the coin over to its reverse reveals a fascinating design element that set modern British coins apart. The 2014 penny featured a section of the Royal Shield of Arms, introduced in 2008 as part of a bold new design initiative by Matthew Dent. Instead of showing a single unified image, each lower denomination coin, from the 1 penny to the 50 pence, carried a fragment of the shield. When placed together, they formed the complete royal shield, a stunning example of numismatic artistry and innovation. On the 1 penny, a portion of the shield's lower left appears, showing the intricate lines and heraldic details that tie it to centuries of royal history. The inscription, 1 penny, sits proudly at the bottom, while the denomination is subtly integrated into the shield itself. For a small coin, it carried immense symbolic weight, connecting modern Britain with its deep-rooted traditions. The minting process of the Elizabeth II 1 penny 2014 also tells a story of precision and mass production. Struck at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, South Wales, the coin was produced in vast quantities for circulation. Yet, as with all coins, slight variations, minting errors, and limited special strikes have the power to turn an otherwise common penny into a rare and highly sought-after collectible. Collectors examine every aspect, from the clarity of the strike to the alignment of the design, from the sheen of the copper plating to the tiniest of imperfections. A doubled die, a misaligned planchet, or an unusual finish could elevate a simple penny into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery worth thousands, or even millions. The thrill lies in the hunt, in the hope that the smallest coin in the nation's currency might hold the greatest hidden treasure. But what makes the 2014 1 penny so compelling to collectors is not just its design or material, it is its place in the broader narrative of British coinage and its relative scarcity in pristine condition. By 2014, pennies were becoming less and less used in daily transactions. Debit cards, contactless payments, and digital wallets were reshaping how people interacted with money. Many people dismissed pennies as a nuisance, left to gather dust in jars or abandoned at counters. This neglect meant that few coins survived in mint-state condition, untouched by circulation. For collectors, however, these flawless examples, graded and encapsulated by professional services, are priceless. They represent not just currency, but preserved history, untouched by time. Beyond the technicalities, the 2014 1 penny holds an emotional allure. It is a coin of the people, a coin that every citizen might have touched, yet its story transforms it into something far more extraordinary. Imagine a child receiving this coin as change for sweets at a local shop, or a traveler slipping it into a pocket as a memento of their visit to the United Kingdom. Every coin carries countless human interactions, and when those everyday objects ascend to the realm of rarity, they carry with them the whispers of millions of lives. This connection between the ordinary and the extraordinary gives coins like the Elizabeth II 1 penny 2014 their timeless appeal. Numismatists around the world recognize the 2014 penny as part of a greater continuum in coinage. It links back to centuries of British monetary history, from the hammered pennies of medieval kings to the machine-struck copper coins of the Industrial Revolution. It also connects forward to a time when coins may eventually disappear altogether, replaced entirely by digital transactions. This transitional quality, bridging the ancient and the modern, adds to its mystique. To hold a 2014 penny is to hold not just a piece of metal, but a fragment of history in motion. Collectors are particularly drawn to the rare varieties of the 2014 penny. While millions were struck, only a handful exist in spectacular condition or with unique minting quirks. Some may exhibit brilliant uncirculated luster, others might carry small die cracks or off-center strikes that make them stand out. These anomalies, dismissed by the general public, are treasures to the trained eye of a numismatist. Each rare variant adds another layer to the story, another reason why the 2014 penny is celebrated among coin enthusiasts. Auction houses have reported remarkable prices for these special examples, as bidding wars break out among collectors determined to secure their piece of history. The global market for rare coins has been booming, and British coins, with their regal history and iconic designs, are at the forefront of this surge. The Elizabeth II 1 penny 2014 has benefited immensely from this trend. Collectors in Europe, America, and Asia all seek out British rarities, elevating their value to unprecedented levels. What once was seen as pocket change has now become an object of international desire. The irony is not lost. A coin worth just 1 penny in face value now commands millions in the numismatic world, a perfect symbol of how rarity, history, and human fascination can transform value. For many collectors, coins like the 2014 penny also hold a personal symbolism. They are reminders of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, a reign that spanned generations and witnessed immense change. With the Queen's passing in 2022, interest in her coinage surged dramatically, as people sought to preserve tangible pieces of her era. Every penny struck during her reign is now a fragment of her legacy, and the 2014 issue, with its striking design and relative scarcity, has been elevated to an almost iconic status. It represents not only a monetary instrument but also a tribute to the monarch whose portrait it bore. One must also consider the artistry of the Royal Mint in this story. For centuries, the Royal Mint has been more than just a producer of currency. It has been a guardian of tradition and an innovator of design. The decision to integrate the royal shield across the coinage, as seen on the 2014 penny, was a bold step that reinvigorated Britain's coins with a sense of unity and modernity. The penny, humble as it may be, played its role in this grand artistic scheme, becoming part of a larger puzzle that celebrated the United Kingdom's heritage. To collectors, this makes the 2014 penny not just an isolated coin, but an essential piece of a broader masterpiece. Stories from collectors further highlight the penny's allure. Some recount discovering near-perfect 2014 pennies tucked away in forgotten rolls of change, realizing they had stumbled upon a treasure hiding in plain sight. Others tell of fierce competition at auctions, where bids soared far beyond expectations as passion and pride drove collectors to secure the coin. Top 3. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny of 2009. To the untrained eye, it may look like just another penny, passed hand to hand in everyday transactions, forgotten in pockets, or rattling around in jars. But for collectors and historians, it is a remarkable piece that weaves together Britain's numismatic history, the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II, and the artistry of coinage design that speaks volumes about the era it was born in. The year 2009 was not just another year in Britain's long history of coinage. It marked a time when the Royal Mint had already introduced a bold and modern redesign of the nation's circulating coins. In 2008, the United Kingdom completely overhauled the reverse designs of its coinage for the first time in decades. Gone were the traditional heraldic emblems that had adorned coins for generations. In their place came a unique and innovative concept, the shield of the royal arms, fragmented across the different coin denominations. This was a modern, daring, and creative reinterpretation of Britain's numismatic tradition, and the 2009 one penny carried this new design proudly, embedding it within history as one of the first years to fully showcase this fresh identity. The obverse of the 2009 one penny features the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. At that time, the fourth definitive portrait by Ian Rank Broadley was in circulation, a design introduced in 1998 and admired for its realism and detail. Rank Broadley's portrayal of the Queen presented her with maturity and dignity, reflecting her long reign and her enduring role as the nation's figurehead. Unlike earlier portraits that idealized youth, this design embraced her reality as a monarch with decades of service, showing a queen who had grown alongside her people. Around her effigy is the familiar Latin legend, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, followed by the date of issue, 2009. This inscription tied the coin not only to its time but also to centuries of tradition in which monarchs' authority was expressed through coins that circulated in the daily lives of their subjects. The reverse is where the coin truly distinguishes itself. Designed by Matthew Dent, the one penny coin of 2009 carries a segment of the royal shield, specifically the lower left quadrant of the overall design. When all the coins from the 1 penny to the 50 pence are placed together, they form a complete image of the shield. On the penny alone, we see part of the shield containing the chains of the Kingdom of Wales, symbolizing the country's historic and political significance within the United Kingdom. This approach to design was revolutionary in coinage, making the coins not just monetary instruments, but puzzle pieces that, when united, told the story of a nation's identity and unity. The denomination, 1 penny, appears below the shield segment, its typography clean and modern, complementing the new artistic vision. But what makes the 2009 Elizabeth II 1 penny so fascinating to collectors is not just its design. It is the story of rarity and era coins that surround this year's issue. While millions of 1 penny coins were struck in 2009, there were small batches and varieties that slipped through the meticulous standards of the Royal Mint. Among these were era coins mistakenly struck with the older 1982 reverse design that featured the crown portcullis, a motif associated with the Palace of Westminster. These hybrid coins, combining a 2009 date with an outdated reverse, are astonishingly rare, and it is precisely this kind of anomaly that sets collectors' hearts racing. A coin that represents a mistake, a deviation from perfection, often becomes far more valuable than one that is flawlessly produced. The 2009 penny also gained attention as one of the coins from the era that cemented Matthew Dent's redesign as part of British culture. Collectors today often seek full shield sets, where every denomination from the penny up to the 50 pence can be placed together to reveal the full coat of arms. Owning a pristine 2009 penny, therefore, is not just about holding a coin, it's about owning a piece of that broader numismatic puzzle, a moment in history when Britain reinvented its coinage for a new century. The minting process of these coins is itself a marvel of precision and artistry. Struck in copper-plated steel, the 2009 penny weighs 3.56 grams and measures 20.3 millimeters in diameter. The Royal Mint, with centuries of experience, ensured that each coin carried not just monetary value but also aesthetic integrity. Each strike imprinted the Queen's portrait and the shield segment with sharp clarity, creating millions of uniform coins. Yet, in that immense scale of production, the few that deviated due to human or mechanical error became treasures, anomalies that remind us of the human element behind even the most industrial of processes. For collectors, the appeal of the 2009 Elizabeth II penny lies in both its accessibility and its hidden rarity. On one hand, countless people handled these coins in their daily lives, paying for small goods, tossing them into jars, or leaving them forgotten in drawers. On the other hand, only a handful of rare varieties and pristine, uncirculated examples have soared in value, transforming the everyday penny into a fortune-bearing artifact. This duality, the common coin with an uncommon story, makes it irresistible to numismatists. The thrill lies in the possibility that an ordinary-looking penny might turn out to be worth millions. As years pass, coins like the 2009 penny take on even greater significance. Queen Elizabeth II's long reign ended with her passing in 2022, and coins bearing her image are now historical artifacts marking an era of British history that spans 7 decades. The 2009 penny, in particular, represents not just the reign of Elizabeth II but also a pivotal moment of modernization in the United Kingdom's currency. Collectors around the world now clamor to preserve these coins, not just as metallic discs, but as symbols of continuity, change, and national identity. The market for rare pennies has surged in recent years, with collectors willing to pay extraordinary sums for rare coins, rare varieties, or exceptionally preserved examples. The 2009 penny is no exception. Stories abound of people discovering these coins in their change, unaware of the treasure they held. Dealers and auction houses have placed stunning valuations on them, especially for the rare portcullis reverse variety mistakenly struck in that year. These valuations have shocked the casual observer but make perfect sense in the world of numismatics, where rarity, demand, and historical context converge to create staggering value. Imagine holding in your hand a small, copper-plated steel coin no larger than a fingertip. To most, it would appear insignificant, its worth defined only by its denomination, just 1 penny. Yet for the collector who understands its story, that same coin represents centuries of British tradition, an artistic revolution in design, the craftsmanship of the Royal Mint, and the chance discovery of an era that slipped past the watchful eyes of production. This is the magic of numismatics, the transformation of the ordinary into the extraordinary. Over time, the 2009 penny has become a centerpiece for collectors building comprehensive Elizabeth II collections. Its place alongside other key years, rarities, and eras makes it a must-have for those seeking to tell the story of Britain's modern coinage. Beyond its numismatic significance, it serves as a reminder that value often hides in plain sight. How many of us have casually spent coins without realizing their hidden worth? How many fortunes have unknowingly passed from hand to hand in the form of these overlooked treasures? As the spotlight on rare coins grows brighter through media coverage, auctions, and the passion of collectors, the 2009 Elizabeth II 1 penny continues to rise in prominence. Its blend of accessibility and hidden rarity makes it the perfect coin to capture the imagination of both novice collectors and seasoned experts. And while millions were minted, it is the rare varieties, pristine specimens, and those tied to fascinating eras that achieve the greatest fame. In recent high-profile auctions, examples of rare 2009 pennies in exceptional condition or bearing era designs have stunned audiences with their hammer prices. Collectors from around the globe bid fiercely, determined to secure their place in history through ownership of this modest yet extraordinary coin. Among the rarest varieties of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny of 2009, those that have surfaced in pristine, uncirculated condition, or bearing the rare portcullis reverse, have been valued at jaw-dropping figures. Today, the pinnacle of these rare coins has reached an estimated market value of $13 million. That's right. A single 2009 penny, overlooked by most, now stands as a multi-million-dollar treasure, a shining example of how history and rarity can elevate the humblest of objects into the realm of legend.